but I think we should probably, because y'all are here and you have made some time to be with Impact Austin today to meet each other, meet us, and also get to know our organization a little bit more. I think I'm going to start off. Robin, are you going to just start off and introduce yourself? Do you want to start there, and then I can go into some of the 101?
Sure, happy to do that. I am Robin Croomy, and I am the new member chair, so you might have received an email from me welcoming you. And I'm also a zone captain, so I play a part in sort of the social arm of Impact Austin. So you might get emails from me about social events that we're hosting, and I can talk about some that we're planning a little bit later in the presentation, but that's who I am. I can't see y'all because of the slide that's up, but I'm happy that you joined us today.
Thank you so much to Robin. And I see we have some new and longtime members joining us today. So a lot of you have met each other, and because of the size of the group we have going today, I'm going to go ahead and, again, some of this is going to be very familiar to many of y'all, but just wanted to go ahead and give folks a quick overview of Impact Austin and what we're calling our Impact Austin 101. So once you are here, you have joined, you have made it this far, you're going to know a lot of our mission, vision, values, work. But I wanted to go through and just give you some of the quick logistics and ways to plug into the organization. And we've taken questions that some of y'all have already submitted. The first one being around volunteering. So folks saying, I've signed up and this is, I've got some time available to give to the community and give to Impact Austin. How can I plug in? How can I volunteer? So the good news is if you visit our website, impactaustin.org, and thank you very much, Judy McCarthy, our marketing co-chair, is putting some links in the chat. So you can keep an eye on the chat, and we're going to be putting some helpful links in. So connect with us. Let us know a little bit about yourselves. Let us know on the volunteer form, you're able to say what committees you're interested in, from moderately interested to very passionate. We're really interested in knowing where you're wanting to learn, where you're wanting to give. And so putting in what committees specifically you may be interested in, also skills and different talents that you can share with us. So part of how Impact Austin is so effective is we've got about 347 women, it's an exact number, but we have hundreds of women each year who find wonderful ways to plug into our organization. And part of why we're so effective is because every single one of you brings something new and different to the table. So if it's your perspective, if it's your specific talent or a skill set, professional skill set, there's a lot of ways that you can plug in. So once you fill out a membership form, or once you fill out the volunteer form, one of our committee co-chairs or one of our organizational leaders will reach out to you to gauge a little bit of interest. And the top request we get is, how do I sign up for a GRC? So I believe if you go to the next slide, I can tell you as far as signing up for GRCs, once you sign up on the volunteer form that you got, so you can go back just one. Once you sign up on the volunteer form that you got, you've put in interest in GRCs, then we have already, most of you, reached out directly to you saying GRC signups are now live. And so if you haven't filled out a volunteer form yet, you've either seen and noticed through our membership newsletter, through one of our email blasts, but this is me inviting you to please participate in our grant making process, and you'll need to sign up for that in order to sign up for a committee. And so that will be, and that's on our website as well as Impact Austin, impactaustin.org, which is a phenomenal resource for anyone who wants to know more about Impact Austin, specifically ways to plug in. So on here, I just wanted to throw up some different leadership skills that I think what we also hear from members is that they're coming in to learn as well. And I think all of you, I think inherently Impact Austin members are curious and always wanting to refine skills. So I put in here with the help of some of our committee chairs who went through and brainstormed about different ways, different skills that they were able to continue to refine, anything from creativity to giving and receiving effective feedback, EQ, communication, accountability, that being part of our organization, especially in a leadership role, that you're able to continue to gain and flex and use and refine so many of the leadership skills you bring. So if we go to the next slide, quickly, I just want to show y'all ways to plug in specifically. So I'm giving you the snapshot as what our grant committees are, what our grant committees look like, and everything that goes into our grant making process. Our grants co-chairs, we have our nonprofit coordinators that work with nonprofits generally, so organizations that are interested in applying for Impact Austin grants, the GRC coordinators and advisors who help facilitate the grant review committees themselves. And then once our two finalists have been identified by the grant review committees as finalists for a grant, then we have Impact Austin members who work with those finalists to help them prepare to go through the final phase of our process, which is on the presentation or video presentation, depending on the year, and the vote process. So we have Impact Austin members along the way who are building relationships and partner directly with our nonprofits. The other piece to talk about, and these are ways that y'all can plug in. These are committees you can plug into and ultimately see if you see yourself working and coordinating and interested in leadership. Then once you volunteer, really our grant committee co-chairs are great about understanding who's interested in taking on leadership roles and continuing to move through. I put these last three are on here as the community partner coordinators and liaisons. So these are Impact Austin members who are working directly with the organizations who receive an Impact Austin grant. They work with them throughout their grant cycle or their grant period. So if they're on grant with Impact Austin, it's their 2-year grants. Y'all, here's what happens. We build relationships with nonprofits individually or as an organization, and truly the goal is to transform each member into a champion for that organization. So for 2 years, you've got this formal relationship of a community partner liaison. What you gain, though, is also about 450 champions for your organizations that will do the same thing, that will partner with our organizations for years to come. Just to do a quick shout out to, before we go on to the next, is our grant finance committee. They do all the financial review, so the deep dives on the financials for the applications. If you have a skill set in understanding financials, or if you've got a professional background, great. We'd love to have you consider serving on this, the GFC. And also for folks who may say, I've never worked in this industry in the past. I don't have an experience in philanthropy, or I don't really have a deep understanding about financials. That I really do encourage you to get involved with Impact Austin, and really, truly, you'll have the opportunity to learn from each other and learn quite a bit. Our process does have a lot of training involved and a lot of onboarding where I think folks will feel pretty confident in the process. So if you go to the next, Lauren, just wanted to, again, where I want to make sure, and we're going to send these slides out to y'all, just some of the definitions of our GRCs. When we say GRC, we're talking about our grant review committees, and those are committees that are formed on an ad hoc basis each grant cycle. And then our grant finance committee, which is where members with strong financial skills are working year round to support the grant making process and continue to refine our process. If you go to the next, and so these are some of you'll hear. I wanted to do a quick spotlight and then wrap up. With Impact Austin, I wanted to spotlight just to get a snapshot of one of the organizations over the last couple of years that we funded that has gone through our process. Is an organization called the Half Helen Foundation, which is a relatively new organization, a startup, a couple of years in before they applied for an Impact Austin grant. And they provide vision screenings and vision glasses and services for kids specifically. And they came to Impact Austin for funding for a specific project. They did the math and came to us, and rather than coming to funding for eyeglasses that could have given I think they did the math, and a few thousand eyeglasses out to students across the community. They did the math on it and realized that same investment, they could buy a machine and have somebody on an ongoing basis actually creating eyeglasses. And so rather than buying eyeglasses one time, they were setting that organization up for success for years to come. Put it in, refurbish what we called in Houston, I think other people call an 18-wheeler. So like a big, whatever's called a big truck in whatever nomenclature you use, but it's a 18-wheeler or big, trailer truck. And they refurbished it into an eye clinic, a mobile eye clinic, where they're actually able to produce glasses there. That was funding from Impact Austin. They went through our grant process. And then also we're able to take Impact Austin funds and get them doubled or get them increased through other grants. So they're able to say, look, with this Impact Austin investment, we're able to make this initial purchase and to perpetuate, to continue our programming or to expand and scale. They were able to secure funding from the St. David's Foundation and others to do their work. So if we go to the next, let me just make sure I wrap up everything until the end, Lauren. Want to do a quick shout out for most of you because you're here. You're familiar with our Discovery Day series. And so we do 3 signature events a year. And our Discovery Days is our second, or the first of the calendar year. And our Discovery Days opportunity is a way to come together, and it's open for members and the community to learn about community issues and also learn about innovative ways to do grant making. Our next, I would like to give you a warm invitation, and please ask you to sign up for Friday the 18th. That's 2 weeks from right now. We'll be talking about the funding landscape in all 4 counties where we work. So we're really moving from talking about Impact Austin to then be talking about a more regional approach of Central Texas. And so it's going to, for all of us, going to be a learning opportunity. We have several leaders throughout the 4 counties who are going to be coming to speak to us. And you can always sign up on our website, impactaustin.org. We go to the next slide. And Robin spoke about our zones, which are our social activities. Save the date for Thursday, February 24th in the evening for a Valentine's virtual get together, get to know each other event. It's been a great way for our members to stay plugged in over the last 2 years. And if you go to the next slide, I believe I've covered, and I'm the executive director of nonprofit. Y'all know my goal is to make sure I present you with an opportunity to support our organization. And many of you have, which is exactly why you're here today. For anyone here who's not a member, I really do encourage you to go to our website, impactaustin.org, and our membership page, learn more about us that you may gain, not even just hearing this presentation. And you are absolutely welcome to join. We would love to have you as a member and make that either annual contribution or monthly contribution to our grant pool. And if you're interested in becoming a member or joining Impact Austin and financial cost is a barrier, I do encourage you to reach out because we often have members who use their corporate matching or make additional donations to help support members from other additional members to join. And you can always support with a financial contribution to our philanthropy circle, which supports our philanthropy education programming. And next, I think that's yes. And then I usually do my little close. So Robin, if you wanted to take it from here, I just wanted to make sure to cover all those logistics. And thank you all so much for joining.
Okay, now I can see everybody. Hello again. So I wanted to talk briefly about 2 things. One thing that I want to emphasize about something that Christina said is joining a grant review committee as a new member. I joined as a new member, and I am one of those people that Christina sort of referred to, like I had no nonprofit experience. I was a practicing attorney when I joined, but I don't know any accounting. I didn't know any finance. So I did feel a little intimidated. I'm sure many of you have a lot more business background than I did when I joined. But I want to assure you that the training is amazing. I felt very competent to do the work that was asked of me as a committee member. When I did feel a little lost, I knew exactly who to reach out to. And since I joined in 2017, I think I've served on 6 grant review committees, and it's always been a really satisfying experience. But it's also a great way to become involved with Impact Austin, to get to know other members of Impact Austin, and to really get to know the needs of our nonprofits in Central Texas. So I just want to say, don't feel intimidated. If you're at all interested in joining, I would encourage you to join as a new member. You will definitely get a lot out of it. And the second pitch that I want to make is for our zones. As I mentioned before, zones are kind of the social arm of Impact Austin. Before COVID, well, since I joined Impact Austin, I've always been a zone captain. And before COVID, zones were areas of the city where we had social events. So if you wanted to stay sort of near your house or near your work and not have to fight traffic, there would be different social activities in different areas of the city. And you're welcome to come to any zone event that you like. But once COVID hit, then we took it online, virtual. Kind of unfortunate because people are so sick of Zoom events. But we did manage to have some really fun events. And as a zone captain, I can tell you a little bit about some events that we're planning for the spring. So you saw the slide on our Valentine's Day event, which will be a virtual event. Since we're still in phase 5 or stage 5, we just feel right now that it's safer. One thing that the zones have added recently, which our members have requested and which has been extremely popular, is opportunities through the zones to do community service. And the community service events that we have offered, working at the Central Texas Food Bank, working with the Austin Diaper Bank, those slots have filled up quickly. So our members are really enjoying the opportunity to get to do service events, and you will see some of those this year. In March, we're planning on meeting at the Wildflower Center, doing a little tour and lunch there. In April, we're going to do something we've never done before, but that was requested by some members when they found out what I do, which is we're going to have a little boxing lesson. I am a personal trainer, and I coach non-contact boxing classes for people that have Parkinson's and other movement disorders. And so when some women found out that's what I do, they said, oh, let's have a boxing lesson. So we're going to offer that in April, I promise, appropriate for all ages and fitness levels. In May, we're trying to put together a Cinco de Mayo happy hour. If appropriate, we'll meet in different places around the city and drink margaritas or mocktails and hopefully see each other in person. So March, April, May, we are planning in-person activities right now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get those going. And that's what I wanted to tell you about. I do send welcome emails. If you have any questions after this presentation, please reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the organization, or sort of find the person that can answer your questions if I don't know the answers. So I'll put my phone number and my email in the chat.
Thank you so much, Robin. And so you've heard our more formal presentation, and this is much more formal than we would normally do if we were in person, because we get a chance to network and look each other in the face and say, oh my God, it's so good to see you. So we wanted to also give y'all that opportunity. And so right now, since we're wrapping up our formal program, then Nicole is going to, for those who would like to stay on and jump into a breakout room, Nicole is going to put us into breakout rooms. And I believe we had a couple little prompt questions, and she, I think she's doing the magic now, I believe.